This is P.Y. Lalita Chaitanya, lecturer in Commerce, Garment City College. Today's topic is Consumer Protection Act 1986. Consumer Protection Act 1986 here means who is the consumer, what is the Protection Act, we will see now. Let us move on to the definition of the consumer. According to section 2 subsection 1 D of the Consumer Protection Act 1986, consumer is defined as any person who buys any goods for consideration which has been paid or promised or partially paid and partially promised or under any system of deferred payment, but does not include any person who obtains such goods for resale or any other commercial purpose. Here the consumer means buys any goods for consideration which has been paid or promised or partially paid or partially promised or under any system of deferred payment, but does not include any person who obtains such goods for resale or any other commercial purpose is known as a consumer. Let us move on to the next point. Hires or avails any services for a consideration which has been paid or promised or partially paid and partially promised or under any system of deferred payment and also includes any beneficiary of such services. So here, thus in the simple words, consumer refers to any person who actually consumes the goods or services. Any person who purchases goods or services for resale would not be considered as a consumer. As per the consumer definition under section 2 subsection 1D of the Consumer Protection Act 1986. So, who will be called as a person? So, consumer includes any person who obtains such goods for resale or any other commercial purpose we said above. Consumer means. So, who will be called as a person in the Consumer Protection Act? Section 2 under subsection 1M of the Consumer Protection Act 1986 defines the term person as a firm, whether registered or not, and a Hindu undivided family. Move on to next point is a cooperative society and every other association of persons, whether registered under the Society Registration Act 1860 or not. All these will come under the defines as a person. A firm, whether registered or not, will be called as a person. A Hindu undivided family, a cooperative society, every other association of persons whether registered under the Societies Registration Act will be calling as a person. Move on to the goods. In the Consumer Protection Act, three things will be involved. Four things will be consumer, person, goods, services. These are the four terms will be there in the Consumer Protection Act. Just we looked about the consumer means who, person means what, we have just now I taught to you. Now move on to the next point is goods. According to the Sales of Goods Act 1930, section 2 subsection 7 defines the term goods as goods means every kind of movable property other than actionable claims and money and includes stocks and shares, growing crops, gross and things attached to or forming a part of the land which are agreed to be served before sale or under the contract of sale is known as goods. According to the Sale of Goods Act 1930, Section 2, subsection 7 defines the term goods as every kind of a movable property other than the actionable claims and money and includes will come and includes under the goods. Next one is service. Section 2, subsection 1 of the Act defines the term service as a service of any description on which is made available to potential users and includes the provisions of facilities in connection with banking, financing, insurance, transport, processing, supply of electricals or the energy board or the lodging of both etc. will include under the service sector, but does not include the rendering of any service free of charge or under a contract of personal service will be called as a service. So service means of any description on which is made available on the potential users and includes the provisions of facilities in the connection with banking, financing, insurance, transport, processing, supply of electricals, energy boards, all will come under the services. Except the free of charge, rendering of any services free of charge will not come under the services. Now, we'll move on to the Consumer Protection Act. Just now we have discussed who is the consumer, who is the person, goods means what, service means what. We have understood all these points which will be included in the Consumer Protection Act. Now move on to the Consumer Protection Act 1986. The Consumer Protection Act 1986 was enacted by the Government of India to protect the interest of the consumers. Consumer protection is a type of protection which is provided to the consumers against the effect of malpractices of the marketers and firms. Here, the Consumer Protection Act 1986 was enacted by the Government of India to protect the interest of the consumers. Consumer protection is a type of a protection which is provided to the consumer against the effect of malpractices of the marketers and firms and social evils such as corruption, ill treatment, exploitation, unhygiene, work conditions, injurious manufacturers, including black marketing, overcharging, misguidance by advertising, mislabeling, misuse of trademarks, patents, etc. Consumer protection specifies the protection provided to the consumers against the adverse market conditions such as price hikes, black marketing, etc. The three important aspects of consumer protection includes physical protection of consumers, protection of consumer economic interest, protection of public interest. Here, we'll see what do you mean by Just now we have discussed about the Consumer Protection Act 1986 and what are the features of Consumer Protection Act 1986. We'll move on. The following points are the features of Consumer Protection Act 1986 are. The first one point is it covers various laws concerned with consumer protection. It covers various laws concerned with the consumer protection. Move on to the next point. Its area comes under the Department of Consumer Affairs, under the Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution. Coming to the next point, it covers all the goods and services unless specifically expressed by the central government through notification. It covers all the goods and services unless specifically expressed by the central government through a notification. It is enacted for safeguarding the rights of the consumers. The Consumer Protection Act main feature is it enacted for safeguarding the rights of the consumer. This Protection Act will protect the rights of the consumer. It also provides quasi-judicial government body at the district, state and national level to redress the grievances of the consumers. So here the quasi-judicial government body at the district level, state level, national level to redress the grievances of the consumers. If any problems were there for the consumers, the Consumer Protection Act will save that. So this is also one of the important feature of Consumer Protection Act. One more important feature of Consumer Protection Act is it helps to safeguard the interest of the consumer. It helps to safeguard the interest of the consumers. And also it helps in setting up of consumer protection councils. It helps in setting up of consumer protection councils. Coming to the next point, it helps in educating. It helps in educating the general consumer in India. It helps in educating the general consumer in India. And also it provides detailed definition for various elements of consumer protection, which includes defining the terms laboratory, consumer, complaints, defects, deficiency, manufacturer, goods, services, etc. So these are the various detailed definitions of various elements of consumer protection, which includes all these things, complaints, deficiency, manufacturing, regarding goods, services, everything. This is also one of the important feature of a Consumer Protection Act. It calls for the establishment of consumer councils and other authorities for the settlement of consumer disputes and for all the matters connected therewith. The list of Amendment Act to the Consumer Protection Act 1986 includes the following. That is the Consumer Protection Amendment Act 1991, the Consumer Protection Act 1993, the Consumer Protection Act Amendment Act 2002. Now move on to what are the main objectives of Consumer Protection Act 1986. Here, some of the objectives of Consumer Protection Act 1986 are as follows. The main objective is to protect consumer rights. The objective of Consumer Protection Act is 1986 is to protect the consumer rights. So, we'll have a look on that. What do you mean by protection of consumer rights? How to protect consumer rights? Consumer Protection Act aims at protecting and promoting the rights of consumers So as we all of them will know that just now we have discussed what we mean by a consumer. By a consumer is nothing but buys any goods for consideration which has been paid or promised or partially paid and partially promised or under any system of deferred payment but does not include any person who obtains such goods for resale or any other commercial purpose is known as a consumer. In simple words, consumer refers to any person who actually consumes the goods or services will also be called as a consumer. Any person who purchases goods or services for resale would not be considered as a consumer. So, what are the rights of a consumer? The rights of a consumer, to protect consumer rights, just now we said consumer means we have just now discussed what do you mean by consumer. Now move on to what are the consumer rights. The present day consumer is provided with the following rights. The first one is right to safety. Right to safety is nothing but it is the most important and basic right of any consumer who purchase any product for consumption. It is the most important and basic right of any consumer who purchase any product for consumption. Every consumer has the right to be provided with products which are safe to consume. Every consumer has the right to be provided with the products which are safe to consume. He needs to be protected against the products, process or marketing of any type of goods or services which is unsafe and hazardous to health and life of the consumer. So, whenever the consumer is purchasing any product, he will have a complete right that which always the product which he is purchasing, it should be safe to consume. So, if it is unsafe products or which is not healthy, health related any issues we are getting if you after consuming the product, then what we can do? So here the Consumer Protection Act is providing the rights to the consumer, right to safety. You have every right to look back the safety when you are purchasing a goods. You have to always the consumer should consume has a safe things he has to consume. So he needs to be protected against the products, process or marketing of any type of goods or services which is unsafe and which is hazardous to health and life of the consumer will be not accepted. So always right to safety. Move on to the second right of the consumer is right to choose. Right to choose is nothing but every consumer has the full right to choose the type of product he desires to consume. So every consumer will have a right to choose any type of a product whatever he likes to consume. He needs to be provided access to various types. He needs to be provided access to various types, size, price, quality, quantity of goods to choose from. So whatever he will have a desire, every consumer will have a right to choose any product what he likes. So sometimes a consumer may like the size, quality, quantity, various types the consumer will have things in his brain based on his desire, based on his satisfaction of the product, he will have a complete right to choose the product what he wants. So the Consumer Protection Act is under the rights also, the consumer rights is also plays a very important role. Move on to the next right, right to information. Here the consumer has the right to be provided full information about the product he desires to consume. The consumer has the right to be provided full information about the product he desires to consume. Providing information also ensures that he is protected against fraudulent or misleading advertisement or labeling of the product. The consumer has a right to be provided full information about the product he desires to consume. Providing information also ensures that he is protected against the fraudulent or misleading advertisement or labeling of the product. So always the consumer has a right to provide a correct information about the product what he desires, wants to consume. He will have every right to gather the information what he wants to consume. He should know the complete details about the product what he wants to consume, and then the Consumer Protection Act will protect the consumer against the fraudulent or misleading advertisement or anything which will be labeling of the product. All that also it will be protected. So the right to information is also one of the important right of the consumer. Next, move on to the right to consumer education. Here all the consumers have the right to consume, all the consumers have the right to consumer education. The Government Department of Consumer Affairs in India is entrusted the responsibility of providing consumer education to the general public. It ensures that the consumer is made aware about his rights, duties, consumer laws, grievances, redressal systems, etc. So all the consumers have a right to consumer education. The Government Department of Consumer Affairs in India is the responsibility provide the consumer education to the consumers in general public. To know the awareness regarding the rights of the consumers, right to safety, right to choose, right of information, right to consumer education, all these are there in the Consumer Protection Act for protecting the consumer, but awareness, the consumer education is not there. So here the government should take an important step to all the people in India, responsibility providing to the consumer education to the general public, and the Government Department of Consumer Affairs in India is entrusted and responsibility providing a consumer education to the general public. It ensures that the consumer is made aware about his rights, duties and consumer laws, grievances, redressal system, etc. Next, move on to right to redress. Right to redress means the consumer has the right to redressal against fake or low quality goods or unsatisfactory services. Here the consumer has a right to redressal against fake or low quality goods or unsatisfactory services is known as right to redress. And move on to the next point, right to basic needs. Here right to basic need means to survive and live like a dignified human being. Consumers have the right to fulfill their basic needs. He needs to be provided all the basic needed goods and services. So here the consumer right is right to basic need is very, very important for the consumer to fulfill their all basic needs. Next, move on to the next right to boycott. Right to boycott. Here, the consumer has the right to boycott the purchase and consumption of any good or a service if there is a conflict of interest. So, anytime the consumer can boycott the purchase when he did not like, or if any conflicts is coming in between both the parties, then he will have every right to boycott that particular product in the market. So, here the right to boycott means the consumer has a right to boycott the purchase and consumption of any good or a service if there is any conflict of interest is known as a right to boycott. Next, move on to the next point, right to safe environment. Every consumer has a right to be provided safe and healthy environment to live and work. So here the Consumer Protection Act is providing right to safe environment. Every consumer have a right to provide safe and healthy environment to live and work. So these are the different rights of a consumer. Just now I taught you that who will be called as a consumer, what are the rights of a consumer. The first right is right to safety, and second one is right to choose. Third one is right to information. Fourth one is right to consumer education. Fifth right is right to redress. Sixth one is right to basic needs. Seventh one is right to boycott. Eighth one is right to safe environment. So these are the different rights. The Consumer Protection Act 1986, consumer is defined as the person, and what are the rights of a consumer just now we have discussed. Let us move on to the next objective is to provide quasi-judicial redressal agencies and commission for fast redressal of consumer disputes. So, if any disputes is coming to the consumer, so fastly it should solve. That's why the Consumer Protection Act is having a redressal agencies and commission for the fast redressal of consumer disputes to solve. Here, the Consumer Protection Act aims at providing fast and easy redressal to consumer disputes, and for doing this, quasi-judicial redressal agencies are established So, here the Consumer Protection Act aims at providing fast and easy redressal to consumer disputes, and for doing this, quasi-judicial redressal agencies are established at central, state and district level. These quasi-judicial agencies and commission are required to possess knowledge about the principles of natural justice and have power. Here, what is the natural principles of natural justice and have a power means? To provide relief of some type and to reward consumer with the compensation wherever desirable. Penalties are imposed if rules laid down by the quasi-judicial machinery are disobeyed. So, all this means to provide a quasi-judicial redressal agencies and commission for fast redressal of consumer disputes. So, it will provide little bit relief to the consumer from the disputes. So, they will be provided quasi-judicial redressal agencies and commission for fast redressal of consumer disputes. Let us move on to the next point. To protect the interest of consumers. The Consumer Protection Act aims at giving a better protection to consumer interest. For doing this, Consumer Protection Act makes provision for setting up consumer councils and other bodies to settle and disputes of consumers and other related matters. Once again, I am repeating to you, to protect the interest of consumers means the Consumer Protection Act aims at giving better protection to consumer interest. For doing this, Consumer Protection Act makes provisions for setting up a consumer councils and other bodies to settle the disputes of the consumers very fast, and any other related matters also they will be setting up the consumer councils. So, this Consumer Protection Act giving a provision for setting up of consumer council and other bodies to settle the disputes of the consumers and other related matters. So, this is also one of the important objective of the Consumer Protection Act 1986 is to protect the interest of consumers. And move on to the last point is to set up consumer protection councils. In order to protect consumer rights and consumer interest, consumer protection councils are set up at the state and central levels. One more objective of the Consumer Protection Act 1986 is to set up a consumer protection councils. Why this consumer protection councils is required for the consumers is, in order to protect the consumer rights, just now we have discussed what are the different rights of the consumers, and also the consumer interest. Consumer protection councils are set up at a state and central level to solve the issues of the consumer. And here some of the important provisions also will be there in the Consumer Protection Act 1986. The Consumer Protection Act 1986 was approved and enforced on 15th April 1987. It was supported by Consumer Protection Rules 1987. The Act was completely modified by Consumer Protection Amendment Act 1993 and was enforced from 18th June 1993. The 1993 amendment gave provisions for the following. So, what are the provisions given by the of Consumer Protection Act 1993? We will see that. The 1993 amendment gave the provisions for the following is to expand the scope of the act so that the consumers can file class action complaints and associated with restrictive trade practices implemented by a trader. And one more provision also given that to assist the self-employed consumers for filing a complaints in front of the redressal agencies if the goods purchased by them have any defect. If the goods, whatever the consumer has purchased, anything defect it came. So, to assist the self-employed consumers for filing complaints in front of the redressal agencies, if the goods purchased by them have any defect, they have a complete provision for that. And also, another provision is to increase the services associated with the housing constructions. Move on to the next point, to assist in filing the class complaints on behalf of the consumer groups with the same interest. And also to enhance the monetary jurisdiction of district forums, state commission, national commission. And also to grant additional powers to the redressal agencies by giving cause to the parties for ordering to eliminate the defects or deficiency from the services and to empower with the authority to recall the goods which have chances of affecting the safety of the public, etc. To levy punishment on the complaint if they make minor or insignificant complaints, and to restrict the period of filing complaints to 1 year. The amendments contain provisions for creating benches of National Commission and State Commission and maintaining circuit benches of this commission, and also specifying the period for admitting complaints, issuing notices to opposite party and deciding the complaints. The similar provisions were also developed for appeals. Provisions to charge fee while filing complaints in front of the consumer dispute redressal agencies. In case of provisions for depositing before the admission of the appeal, that is either 50% of the fine amount of compensation or the amount specified below which is lesser than need to be deposited. In case of district forum appeal to the state commission, the amount is 25,000. In case of state commission appeal to the national commission, the amount is 35,000. In case of national commission appeal to the Supreme Court, the amount is 50,000. So these are the provisions for depositing before the admission for appeal, that is either 50% of fine amount of compensation or the amount specified below. The services used for commercial purpose were excluded from the range of the consumer dispute redressal agencies, and also specifying the minimum qualification and disqualification required for members of consumer redressal agencies, and also provision for reappointing the president and members of district forum, state commissions and national commissions for the next 5 years. And also provisions of the Act were also extended to the service providers who are engaged in unfair or restrictive trade practices or provides hazardous services to the people. So all these are the different provisions also. All these are the important provisions for the Consumer Protection Act 1986.